Pixar's about to release one of the riskiest movies in their entire history, and barely anyone's talking about it. Elio is a huge gamble, easily one of the biggest risks Pixar's taken in years, because once again they're stepping back into sci-fi, and in the past that's been very hit or miss for them. Sometimes you get WallE, one of the boldest and most cinematic movies they've ever made, and other times you get Lightyear, a movie that had big ideas but just couldn't connect with audiences. And now Elio is caught somewhere right between those two. Elio isn't a sequel, it's not some guaranteed crowd pleaser from a franchise everybody already loves. It's a brand new story with brand new characters, and that's a huge risk, especially considering the streak Pixar's been on lately. So does Elio have any real shot at becoming the next WallE, or are we about to watch another Lightyear disaster? There are some red flags with Elio that can't be ignored, but I'm gonna be real, I'm actually really hyped for this movie. I'm rooting for it to succeed. I want nothing more than to see these characters be remembered for generations. I just don't know if it's gonna happen. When you look back at 2008, on paper, WallE should have been a massive risk. A mostly silent movie starring a lonely robot cleaning up garbage on a dead planet, the first 40 minutes alone took a huge chance by risking the attention span of younger viewers. But Pixar didn't care because it worked for the story. WallE was Pixar's first true sci-fi movie, and the world it built felt so different compared to anything else at the time. And honestly, I don't think it was just the emotional story or the characters that made it work, even though those are of course great. The real reason WallE stuck with people is because of how real the future felt. When people are shown a believable vision of Earth's future, it sparks a real fear, especially with older audiences. It's that quiet, subconscious, this could really happen feeling that makes a movie stay in your head. That's why dystopian sci-fi movies have blown up so much. Pixar though has always been about telling personal stories, but sci-fi tends to hit harder when it taps into bigger questions about humanity itself. And honestly, that's not usually Pixar's style. They're experts at small emotional stories, usually just hinting at a bigger world beyond. That's part of why Pixar theories have become so popular too, because they trained us to look for hidden layers and piece them together ourselves. They don't tend to focus on movies that have high stakes for the world itself. Then you have Lightyear. When Pixar announced it, a lot of people, including me, thought it was going to be huge. It's Buzz Lightyear, how do you mess that up? But from the first trailer, something felt off. And when the movie finally came out, it became pretty obvious why. Buzz wasn't the Buzz we knew. He was serious, grounded, basically a completely different character. And that emotional hook, the thing that Pixar usually nails, just wasn't there. Now, I'll be honest, and maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't, I actually thought Lightyear had some cool ideas. The whole time dilation thing, Buzz sacrificing decades of his life trying to fix a mistake. I'm a huge fan of time travel, so I appreciated them trying something different. You could tell there was a real passion behind it. And as a hardcore Pixar fan, I could appreciate the ambition. But for the average moviegoer, they weren't expecting a cold, serious, military-style sci-fi movie. They wanted something closer to the fun, adventurous vibe of Toy Story. And when they didn't get that, it just felt disappointing. The plot didn't help either. The whole Zurg is actually Buzz from the future twist confused a lot of people. And honestly, it took a few rewatches to even get it myself. Plus, a lot of fans felt like it retcons Toy Story 2's lore. All of that just stacked up and hurt Lightyear's chances. And I'm saying all this because Elio might be making the same critical mistake that doomed Lightyear. Based on the trailers, Elio looks like it's landing somewhere between the strengths of WallE and the weaknesses of Lightyear. Once again, we've got a story with world-altering consequences, but it's hard to tell if it's gonna evoke the same fear of the future that made WallE stick. This time, it's not set centuries ahead, it feels a lot closer to today, focusing on aliens making contact with Earth. And honestly, I have a lot of thoughts about what Pixar's really trying to say with this story. I actually think there's a hidden agenda here that people aren't noticing yet, but I'll save that for another time. What matters right now is this. If Elio can create that same feeling of scale, that sense that the whole world could change, it could succeed based on that alone. But on the flip side, it does seem like there's some real heart to the story too. This isn't just about sci-fi, it's about Elio himself, his loneliness, his struggles, and his need to belong. If Elio works, it'll be because it builds that emotional connection early, just like WallE did. If it misses, it'll be because the world feels too weird or audiences just don't latch onto Elio fast enough. Elio is an even bigger risk than Lightyear was. At least Lightyear had a brand people recognized. Even if it was a different version of Buzz, the name still carried weight. Elio has none of that. It's a completely new world, a completely new cast, no built-in nostalgia. It's asking audiences to take a chance on something brand new, and that's much harder to sell these days. Plus, Elio's releasing the same summer as the live-action Lilo and Stitch, another family-friendly sci-fi movie that already has a huge fan base. And let's be honest, given the choice, most families are probably gonna pick Lilo and Stitch. Right now, Pixar's future is leaning heavily towards sequels. Toy Story 5 is already confirmed. They just announced Coco 2, which honestly I'm still not thrilled about, and there are more sequel rumors floating around too. Elio is one of the last big original movies Pixar has lined up, and if it struggles, if it flops the way Lightyear did, Disney's probably going to be even more hesitant about letting Pixar make anything original again. And that's what makes Elio such a crucial moment. Because when you step back, this is Pixar trying to find that WallE success again, to tell a story that feels fresh, heartfelt, and bold all at once. And honestly, I really do hope they pull it off. The trailers show a lot of potential, but I'm a little worried that Elio might not have enough depth to really carry the movie. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Will Elio be the next WallE or just another Lightyear? Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and bye.